Now that you have all your vector shapes needed to create the final pattern, you can use the Pathfinder palette in order to fuse all these shapes together. And I'm not going to bother going through that in this specific video because we're going to cover that more in depth when we get into the shape building video. So it would be better served to keep it in that context. But this is how the final design, pattern design came out. Let me turn off the scan. That shows you the repeat pattern swatch. And this is obviously just vector. And I took my pattern, flipped it, and played with the coloring a little bit and created this final design. All you have to do is you drag this right into your swatches palette. And when you do that, it creates a new pattern swatch. So that fill is a pattern. So if we go to a new layer and I just take any kind of shape like this and I fill it with the pattern. Now this is repeating pretty big. You know, it looks a lot better if we turn off object and just have pattern. Let me slide this over so you can see it. Turn off object, just have pattern, then it'll fill our pattern. That looks good. That pattern control applies to the rotate too. So I just think a 30% rotate looks good, and that's what you end up with. So the point-by-point method can be used to create anything. You're going to use it in almost every vector build project you work on, and you're going to use it throughout the remainder of your career, which is probably more than likely going to span over a few decades. So you'd be better served to learn how to do it effectively, efficiently, and precisely now. So I know this might be a struggle to get things to look really nice and precise, but just dedicate yourself to do it because you won't regret it. Moving forward, you'll have so much more fun creating your work. The quality of your work will improve. So this just shows you how you can use the point-by-point method to create a pattern. One thing, I do want to go back to my basic vector shapes here that I created and point out the fact that this is a complex design. And when you work on a complex design, it's hard to keep track of your detailing. You don't want to miss a point that might need to be smooth and you don't smooth it, and then it looks kind of wonky on the final and you didn't see it, and then you're kind of mad at yourself. Well, notice how on this design, it's a complex design, but I've broken it into individual little vector shapes within the greater motif. And this is important because you can then focus on those individual shapes, build those, focus only on those, refine those, move to the next one. And if you build that way, you're going to be assured to catch all those little kind of improvements you can make in your work as you move forward. So get in the habit of thinking in shapes of how you can break down a complex design into more manageable pieces by dissecting them into individual shapes, and that's going to help you build your artwork. You don't need to build it one continuous path. It really doesn't make any sense to do it that way. There's only one style that comes to mind that I can think of where I would possibly do that, and that's a linear line style. And if you look in the styles chapter of the book, we go over that style, and it's for that very reason. But even in that case, there's times where I don't build it as one continuous line to begin with. But anyway, that ends this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to check out all the other videos on the DVD. Thanks.